Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Bumping the Mic, where we talk about all things paranormal, supernatural, and just downright weird. I'm Gregory,
I'm Clyde.
and today we're going to be continuing our America the Haunted series in the state of California. And we've got a couple stories for you out of that state because it's California. Okay. I think Clyde's going to kick us off.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, California, it's got a ridiculous amount of haunted places and stories and all that, but you have to start with Alcatraz.
Got
I
to.
think everybody's heard of it. It's actually famous. People will go there just to do the ghost tours, to try to see things, and people have taken pictures and they report ghostly images in the pictures. They report being touched, cold spots, um, crazy feelings, and you can actually go online and like bring up pictures that people post of it and determine for yourself whether you think it's just a trick of the camera or if you think it's actually something that they captured on film. But to kick us off, there's a few like famous locations and stories from it. And just to start, the first one I'll start with is the warden's house. And apparently they're saying that there's reports of a woman's wailing or screaming, crying. There's also reports of cold gusts of wind that for no reason will just blow right past you. And less common, but they have been reports of a man in like a gray man that will appear to you and then just instantly vanish.
No idea who the guy is, huh?
No, and I don't even know why like necessarily the warden's house would be haunted, but that's the first one that kind of gets reported on.
Yeah, because I mean, like historically, when Alcatraz was operated as a prison, like you just know there had to be some pretty terrible things that happened there and some pretty gruesome deaths, and traditionally, like the most common reason that is cited for someplace being haunted, it is because it is the site of that spirit or that entity's mortal body death. And so
Right.
it gets attached to that spot due to the violence or whatever the circumstances were. And I'm wondering if because there were probably so many of these things that happened at Alcatraz over the years that there's just a condensation of, you know, ghostly energy there that's spread across the whole island, basically.
Yeah, it very well could be, and it's actually interesting that you bring that up because the next site I was going to talk about on the island that's reported to be haunted is the riot site, and this is a utility passageway where in 1946, I believe, prisoners rioted there, and there was an escape attempt, and several of them were killed. And now in that passageway, it's reported that you can hear like sounds of screaming. You might see apparitions, and then you can also hear sounds of clanging. Like, I'm not sure when they say clanging, if it's like chains or if it's like people beating on the walls. But yeah, so that area, since there were those deaths, people definitely do report that there.
Yeah, and that would make sense. You got a large scale prison riot, an escape attempt followed by deaths. Like there's already that emotional energy that's charged in that situation, now coupled with death. Like that just seems rife for future paranormal activity, right?
Definitely, definitely. Um, And another one that people get, I mentioned earlier about like ghosts appearing on cameras. There is reports that multiple people have reported where they take pictures and they actually get an image of a woman staring directly into the camera. So they'll take a picture of what they think is an empty hallway, an empty cell, this and that. And when they go to look at the picture, she's actually right in front of them, just staring into her camera.
Wow. So when they look at like the image initially, there's nothing there, but when they take the photo or the screenshot or whatever, that's when she appears.
Correct. They don't see
Wow.
anything when they're looking there. So they're just like, oh, this is a cool looking part of the prison, whatever. I'm going to take a picture. They'll go to take the picture. And upon examining it later, there's somebody clearly standing right in front of them, staring into the camera.
It's weird how that happens because there is that phenomenon surrounding, camera shutters. Because a lot of people think that, uh, an apparition is not visible to the naked eye. But when you take a picture of it, like the shutter speed is fast enough that that shutter closing that fast just captures it real quick, and it's there forever. Because that happens a lot in like the haunted hotels, like the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park comes to mind, where you go on these haunted tours and you're not seeing anything, but people are taking photos, and then they look back at it later and they're like, what is that?
That very well could be the case, yeah, because if it's kind of a very fleeting thing, like maybe it's there for a split second, your eye might not catch it, but like you're saying, yeah, if that camera is capturing that image quick enough, you're probably seeing something that was there faster than you could actually perceive it was there.
Or like some kind of infrared energy that's given off by the ghost itself, right? That we couldn't see anyway, but cameras are naturally good at, right?
Very well could be true too. And another one that isn't captured on camera, but that a bunch of people have reported is kind of all throughout the prison, and it's sounds of pain. So they're saying that no matter where it is, people report hearing from the cells from different areas moans, screams, sobs, wailing, just sounds of absolute pain and despair all throughout the prison. And they're not coming from anywhere. Nobody's making them. They're just there.
It's kind of like an echoing, haunting noise that is just surrounding the area.
Right. And I don't know if that's related to something that's like currently happening, a spirit that's there, or if that sometimes you hear also about like residual hauntings. That could be just the pain and the horrible suffering that occurred there that's kind of trapped in there. But
Yeah,
that's,
again, like tied to emotional energy, right? Or maybe the last sound like a mortal soul made before it departed, and now it's just stuck there.
yep, it very well
Right?
could be.
Like these are all guesses. I don't have a PhD in parapsychology or anything, but
Yeah, maybe.
makes
I mean, it could be something that we have to investigate a little more. Maybe, once we start kicking off these lives, maybe Alcatraz could be on the list.
you son of a bitch.
I mean, somebody's got to check it out, right? It's probably been a while.
Somebody's got to check it out.
Sounds like it might have to
Actually,
be
that's
us.
a good little spring bar into. Stay tuned. Soon, we're going to put a short up talking about our 100 subscriber special, and I think you guys will really dig it. We won't announce it in this video, but stay tuned. It'll be upcoming shortly.
Um, yeah. Another one that I thought was interesting is it's reported that coming from the shower room, and I don't know why from the shower room, but as you know, Al
I
Cap-
mean, we'll just keep continue.
well, yeah, this was not scary. So coming from the shower room, people report hearing banjo music. That's what I'm
Paddle
saying. I
faster.
don't. Yeah, I don't know why from the shower room. But, apparently, when Al Capone was there, he played the banjo. So people sometimes attribute the banjo music coming from the shower room to Al Capone.
That's actually kind of cool.
Hmm. And the last and the most crazy one I saved for last is there's reports of a entity with glowing red eyes, and it will be seen in cells, and specifically the cell that it's most notorious in is 14D. And this entity is considered to be very evil. And this one goes back a long time. So there's even a story that occurred while the prison was still occupied. They took a prisoner, they transferred him to cell 14D. And when they put him inside and closed it, the guards walked off. He began screaming because it was at night. He began screaming that he was seeing red eyes, that there was something in his cell. And he was panicking for a long time and finally went completely silent. So the guards thought, oh, okay, I guess he's done freaking out or overreacting or trying to get a rise out of us. However, when they returned the next day, he was deceased.
And how?
So
What were any injuries or?
they don't know. I mean, this was obviously a while ago. So no physical injuries that they were seeing. He was just deceased in the middle of the cell after claiming that there was a red eyed entity in the cell with him and that it was going to hurt him.
Damn. What
So
was there any information on what they think that entity is or was, or any personal opinions of your own?
uh, I don't have any personal opinions on it. Funny enough, after that, several guards also reported seeing this entity.
Wow.
So yeah, it's so that's something that if you were there to keep an eye out for, I guess, because that's
No
probably
pun intended.
yeah, probably on the scale of things the most horrifying experience that people had in the prison, and something that actually possibly took someone's life.
Yeah, especially since it's a persistent physical entity. You know, it exists in the physical realm to some extent, allegedly. Like, like that's another cryptid or something we might have to dig into for cryptid countdown. But I mean, we talked about Wendigo. Sometimes those are reported as glowing red eyes. Could be a demon. You know, could be any number of like physical manifestations of spirits.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's malevolent. So maybe just don't go to
Absolutely.
Alcatraz at night.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what it could be. I guess when you're talking about these like evil spirits or evil entities, like I don't know if it's like an energy thing because obviously if you have a prison that at the time was meant to house the worst of the worst, like you have a lot of bad energy there. You have a lot of bad people. So I don't know what that could attract or bring in.
Yeah, and I think personally, just from all the talks that we've had, and this is a little bit off topic, but not really, like energy at a location has to have almost everything to do with a haunting, right?
Mhm.
Because you talk about like, some of the stories we've shared, especially in like theaters and stuff, like there's energy there. We've got battlefields, there's obviously energy there. Like some of the most haunted stories you'll ever hear come out of like high octane type of events where there's a lot of emotional, physical, just energy surrounding that space. So that there has to be something there. Just like the Vikings, right, with Valhalla, like they believe that the act of battle itself generated so much energy that it would reduce the or thin the veil between their world and Valhalla so that their warriors' spirits, when they fell, could transition easier into Valhalla just due to the act of battle itself. Like that is an energy that is happening, that is doing something beyond our comprehension. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely agree. Things I think like where you have a mass concentration of a lot of terrible people, that might be a certain type of energy. Battlefields are probably a whole another one. People are experiencing horrifying things. And it could be also the same with a prison. Maybe they were experiencing horrible things. They're in the worst possible position in their life, and who knows what that energy could bring in if it does thin that veil.
especially back then, right, when prisons were notoriously terrible on
Oh,
purpose, right?
yeah, they didn't have any cameras back then, so I don't imagine you got to like talk back as much or be as aggressive
Yeah.
with the guards as you can nowadays.
Right. We've come a long way in the realms of like human rights and decency, even in correctional facilities. But back then, no, there was none of that. It was fighting tooth and nail for your survival in these places.
Absolutely. Um, but yeah, another story we have out of California is another famous one. It's the Queen Mary. It's
Ah,
for those of you
Queen
that don't
Mary.
know. Yeah, it's an old ocean liner. Looks kind of similar to the Titanic. It's got three smokestacks though instead of four. Same color pattern. Uh, Same like style of ship. It's a beautiful ship, and it was actually commissioned as a just like the Titanic as an ocean liner that would transport people. However, during World War II, it was recommissioned as a ship to help serve in the war. So they even slapped a gun on the front of it, and it was used for whatever they needed it for in the war. Because a lot of things that weren't initially made for war were repurposed for the war effort.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, if memory serves, it was converted to a troop carrier, right? Because it was already a luxury cruise liner meant to haul passengers, so they just converted it to haul troops instead. Um, if I remember right, there was a big tragedy that came out of that ship during the war, right? It collided with another ship, cutting the other ship in half, killing over 300 people. The HMS Curacao was the other ship's name.
That's
So,
correct.
I
Yeah.
mean, again, energy at wartime, right? Combined with this tragic accident with a lot of deaths all at once. Like, we're setting the scene here for a pretty haunted voyage for the rest of this ship's life.
Absolutely. And there's even been reports of hauntings and people seeing things and hearing things on the actual bow, like the front of the ship. And people are wondering if that actually is attributed to what you were saying from it colliding into that ship where so many people unfortunately lost their lives.
Yeah, it almost has to be, right? Like,
Hmm.
you have that much death all on the bow of the ship, really. If you're colliding with another ship, that's where it's happening. Like,
Absolutely. And you're
that
like
makes sense.
leaving the world pretty suddenly. I can't imagine you're just underneath, you're down in a room in a ship, you can't see anything, and the next thing you know, there's a front of another boat pushing itself like through your room. That's
Right.
that has to be obviously super surprising, and I can't even imagine the horror.
Putting it mildly. Absolutely. That is a surprise.
Yeah. Um, but there's also other hauntings, haunted spots, haunted rooms, and some of them are interesting. One is Jackie and the pool is what they associate it to. It's the spirit of a young girl named Jackie, and it's said that she lingers near the first class pool. I'm not exactly sure why, but you can see they report for no reason. Even now, you'll see wet footprints that shouldn't be there. Nobody's been in the pool, and you'll see them tracing around the pool, going who knows where, and you'll hear the sound of children playing in the pool when there are no children present. So
In fact, there's no water in the pool, right? Like, they don't fill that pool anymore.
that's correct, yes. So that
Yeah.
makes it even
So,
more like where the hell are the wet footprints coming from? But yeah, you'll
yeah.
see wet footprints, hear children playing in a pool that is not currently able to be used.
Because this is still happening today, right? Like, guests and staff. Because, like, after World War II, the ship was reconverted back into a luxury cruise liner, and then it was finally retired in like the mid '60s, I think. And then it's been permanently docked in Long Beach as a hotel and tourist attraction since then.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I've been through it a couple times. I've never actually stayed the night on it, and we talk about eventually kicking off these lives. That might be another one we have to hit up.
Good old haunted voyages. Yeah, I don't like boats anyway, right? So going on a for sure haunted one's probably not in my, no pun intended, but wheelhouse.
It's when I was there, I didn't actually experience anything haunted, but I didn't stay the night, so it would be something I would
Yeah.
have to check out. Um, but
I think
another
you'd
one,
have to stay the night.
you probably have to. Yeah, nothing's gonna pop out during the day. It's less common to have activity during the day.
Yeah,
Um,
nighttime is where everything's thinner and more active, and so go visit
mhm.
at night or go stay the night if you're bold enough. Let me know how it goes.
Or we'll let you know how it goes when we make our way make our way down
Clyde
there.
solo episode.
But another one is the lady in white, and they're saying it's a woman in white, and she's seen playing sad tunes on the piano that's in the lounge area. Um, they're saying that the story is that she is supposed to be some kind of like unclaimed bride. Maybe she was supposed to be getting married. Something happened and the wedding fell through for whatever reason, and she took her own life. That's a reported story, but no one really knows. So all they know is that there is a woman in white that plays the piano in the lounge area, and that would be interesting if they could find out who it was. But
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be a document somewhere, like in a ship's log, or you think they'd have to document. Maybe not way back then, right? Document like your voyages and your guests and your activities and things. I don't know. Certainly today they'd be able to find that information, but
yeah,
they must have kept some records though, because in 1966 there was a sailor on the boat named John Pedler that was crushed by a door in the engine room. So this is when it was a luxury cruise liner. converted back from the troop transport, and the sailor got crushed. And now, if you go in the engine room, people say that you can hear footsteps, you can see figures moving about in the machinery in there, and then there's cold spots, which, as we all know, are prime indicators of some sort of paranormal activity, right?
Hmm.
So, John Pedler's still down there in the engine room, either trying to do his job or trying to get back at the door that crushed him. But that's a named ghost that people are still experiencing here today,
Yeah.
aboard that ship.
And it probably is a little easier since he worked there and they saw it happen. They
Sure.
probably
Yeah.
like it was probably very easy to log as to where the lady in white, like all of a sudden you have how many passengers on a ship. Like I mean, anybody that like works at a hotel or anything knows you find people dead in hotel rooms all the time. I'm sure it was the same for cruise ships and stuff like that. So that one's probably a little harder for them to nail down as to who is actually, because you have all these people die and then all of a sudden one of them doesn't stay dead or comes back, and you're like, oh well, who is it?
Yeah.
But the only other main thing that's haunted is room B340, and this one's actually cited usually as like the most haunted room. And if you do stay in that room, they have reports of shadow figures. You'll be in there and all of a sudden the faucets will just cut on. So you'll be laying in bed and somebody just turns your sink on. And they also report that you'll be laying in bed and your sheets will be pulled off of you. So
Dude,
that would wake you up, I guarantee it. And
I wouldn't be asleep, so wouldn't have to worry about that.
but sometimes they attribute it to a spirit named Walter J. Adamson. But once again, who really knows? All of it, I guarantee you, if you're in the room and your faucet comes on, your sheets start flying off, you're probably not gonna care who it is. You're probably gonna find the door pretty quickly.
Yeah, it vaguely reminds me of a certain like New York City apartment that I know about, right?
Yeah, something kind of similar. Yeah. Oh,
It's interesting, I mean, this ship is widely regarded as one of the most, like, the top 10 haunted places in America. And if you look at its history, it's pretty easy to find out why that is, right? It's got, again, going back to energy, it's got all this residual energy from its time as a cruise liner, both happy and sad. Obviously people go on vacations to have a good time. And apparently at least one woman went there to get married and it didn't work out for her. And then
mhm.
it's converted to a troop ship to use during wartime and crashes into another boat, killing 300 people, not to mention whatever else happened in the rest of its wartime service. And then converted back to a luxury cruise liner. And you got intelligent spirits, the crewman, John Pedler, getting killed. Like, it's just building blocks on building blocks to make this thing just haunted as hell. Right. And then you have
That's
the psychological influence of it, where now people are going to visit it, knowing it's haunted, expecting it to be haunted, and that expectation is driving the experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's just it's had so much history. So many souls have passed through there. Some of them left this earth on that ship. It's been around forever, and I mean, some of them, I guess, came back. So it's had all that history, all that energy, just building up the whole time. You almost expect there's gonna be things that linger.
Absolutely. And I guess if you want to check this out for yourself, this ship is still docked in California's Long Beach Harbor, where its voyage into the unknown still continues. So go check it out. Let us know how it is. If you've been on the ship and you've experienced something, or if you haven't experienced something, let us know how it went. Was it at least a cool spot to go see? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to hear stories from anybody that's actually stayed on it. Because I've been on it during the day. I took the tour and then I left. It's beautiful. It's worth seeing in and of itself. Beautiful ship. But I definitely would be interested in staying there at night. And if you have, please share with us.
Absolutely. You got anything else for us, Clyde?
No, I mean, if we went through every haunted site in California, we'd be here for the next probably 6 hours. So I figure we'll just do two of the most famous ones that I've been to and that I thought were fascinating. And I mean, obviously, we're going to come back with another state. We've got a lot more stories. So please, guys, stick around. If you can, go ahead and hit that follow button, that subscribe button. Come along with us. We want to tell our stories. We want to tell your stories. We want to tell famous stories just like this. So please don't be shy. Submit your stories, and we'd be more than happy to shout you out and make your stories heard.
Absolutely. Post them in the comments below, or there's an email in the description of this video you can send them to. We check that daily. So just hit us up. But until next time, thanks for joining us on Bumping the Mic. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.